hit now. Record our PowerPoint presentation. So these voiceover timed PowerPoints will be converted to video, put online on the Beach SAMP website for anybody to watch after tonight's meeting. So I encourage you guys, and probably I would give us 2 weeks to get the files all set and posted. So we will have this information available if you know people in your community who are interested in what we're covering here tonight. This stuff will be available. So with that, I will turn it over to Guru Fugate from Rhode Island CRMC. Thanks.
Thank you. Welcome. Hope everybody's having a good night here. It's been a while since we've actually had a meeting, as you're well aware, and we've been very busy, and I think you're going to see that tonight with all the presentations going on. There's a lot of work that's ongoing. The plan is starting to get drafted and starting to fill up, and we'll be going over some of that tonight. And there's been a series of actions that have been undertaken. One of the ones, and by the way, I should note that we have 2 council members here tonight. We have Ann Livingston, our chair, and Paul Bodette. Both of those are on the Beach SAMP subcommittee, so they are actually overseeing the writing of the plan and the work. One of the things the council did at its last meeting in January was to adopt amendments to Section 145. Section 145 of our coastal plan deals with climate change. And it deals specifically with looking at things like sea level rise. Previously, the council had in its policy that we would have an estimate of 3 to 5 feet of sea level rise by 2100. And the science is getting updated quite frequently at this point. And rather than having to go back and completely update the section with that, what we decided to do was switch to the NOAA sea level rise calculator, which is the state of the science, essentially, for the federal government. It is tied to our tide gauge stations here at Newport and gives us a very accurate estimate of what our sea level rise expectations are, and it's updated on a frequent basis. So what we've done is amended Section 145 to actually refer to this section now. And as you can see, the curve will give you a time scale with the estimates, and the council is actually using the high range of those estimates. And the reason for that is twofold. First is that all the data is lining up on that high range. And secondly, where we're looking at major infrastructure and planning for that, we want to be conservative to make sure that we capture the right sea level rises and that we don't underestimate those, because they could have devastating impacts for infrastructure. So with that, what this does now is the estimates, instead of being 3 to 5 by 2100, are actually about 5 to 7 by 2100. So it's jumped by 2 feet. My guess, if I was a betting man, would say that that estimate will probably continue to grow as we go into time. But it gives us at least some time frames now to also deal with. So for example, again, we could look at 1 foot of sea level rise by 2020 and 2 to 3 by 2050. So it gives us a little bit more of a range and time elements tied to that, which will come into play as we get into the actual beach SAMP itself. So the council has formally adopted that, and it will be effective regulation as of 22nd of February. So the other thing that we've adopted too is we've adopted storm tools as our official estimate for sea level rise inundation for the various time periods and levels. And that is also part of that section as part of our amendments. As we're getting into this, we are going to be starting to draft a section here on permitting, and we're going to be going to what's going to be called essentially a scenario-based permitting system for a lot of this work when we get into it in the council itself. But that will be coming forward here shortly after we flush that out a little bit more, particularly with the subcommittee. The other thing that I just wanted to make note of, at the regional level, the council also participates in an organization called the Northeast Regional Ocean Council that goes by the acronym NROC. And we had put in for a regional resiliency grant as part of that. So we are going to be working on and looking at two major projects. One is going to be a real-time forecasting system for surge, and the other one's going to be green infrastructure for storm themselves or shoreline protection. So as we go forward, you'll hear a little bit more about that. But with that, I think I'll turn it back to Teresa, and thank you once again for coming tonight. I appreciate it. And I'm sure you're going to have a very informative night tonight.
Thanks, Grover. Grover's going to take the stage again in about an hour to tell us about what we have going on for this coming year. But right now, I want to turn it over to Dawn. I want to stop.